Oh, probably should look like I'm a professional, but again, I hit start and didn't switch to the right view.
It's just me and books.
It's just you
It's
and
just
books.
books. It's just books. It's not even me.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
get to all the different things
Oh
and
shit.
look like a professional organization here. I mean,
Well,
but so in case you didn't know, the fancy PowerPoints are PowerPoints. They're no big fancy graphics. It's just all done in PowerPoint. Uh, so I just
what?
wanted to reveal behind the screen. That was the entire goal of that. Uh,
That was great. Good
yeah.
job.
Uh,
Psycho.
so Joe, did you hit the shop?
No. I've been to the post office and Goodwill this week, and that's it.
That's it. Okay. I actually did. Our LCS. I hate to say it. I did go back. I actually closed my box, my pull, because it'd been since July that I actually picked up my books. So
Oh
I
my
went by
gosh.
and paid my dues. Books. I was like, I'm not. But it's like we've said every week. So, and did I just lose you for a second?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay. Okay, it's gonna be one of those days again. Evidently, you're ready to carry the entire show, right?
I can do it. I've got it pulled up right here on my other screen. I'm ready to go.
So,
Don't
yeah,
leave
no,
me.
I did go and grab this. This was the
Oh,
first
cool.
appearance of Chimera, and that's her on the cover. So it's a voices of I don't know, Comunicades, the Spanish, where all the characters are Spanish characters, and all the writers and artists are Spanish. Pretty good. Like I like her as a character. The overall, it's pretty good. Um, and then I have all the epic.
Son of a gun.
Am
What
I
was that?
disappearing?
Yeah.
All right. Give me a second. Let me switch to my phone.
Okay. I'll talk about all the things that I talk about.
Yeah.
This one time when I was a little kid, I got. Are you still there? Oh,
Yep.
good. Yeah, he's still there. Are you gonna switch to a different device?
Yeah. So hold on a second. I don't know why this happens at this time.
I mean, now you're.
But
See ya. Did I freeze too? Anywho, lots of books next week. Not a whole lot I'm personally excited about, but that doesn't mean anything. Uh, Batman's coming in strong. This Dark Crisis has some cool stuff happening in the covers. So, you know, how we collect comic books like their baseball cards. Spider-Man's coming back. Dan Slots and Mark Bagley. I used to love Mark Bagley when I was a kid. And kind of like John Romita Jr., I got overstimulated with too much Mark Bagley. You back? No, he's froze. Joker coming back. Cool Joker thing.
let's one
Hey.
1,700 times,
Yeah,
maybe.
there you go. There you go.
All right, guys.
I was filling the
Let's.
air with nothing.
I would occasionally pop in here Spider-Man and then go away. I was like, what just happened, guys?
Yeah.
Apologize if you're sticking with us and watching, or you're late. You haven't missed anything because somehow my internet's, even though I'm the only one in the house, it doesn't want to work. Uh, gotta love technology. It only happens for me. It doesn't happen for you. Uh,
Well, what do you do for a living?
yes, shut up. I blame the cable company, and then my cell
Man,
phone wouldn't connect
yeah.
either.
I've been on a device almost all day actually.
Yeah.
So
So let's go through this. So hopefully I won't disappear in the next 30 minutes or less.
yeah.
Guys, if you see the slides on the screen, these are some books. They're so exciting. I get to pick the books. These are the ones I like. Joe might not like them. Well, that's okay. I picked the books this week. We'll
Yeah.
talk about these covers as they come up. It is episode 43. We're almost to 50. I mean, I feel like we should do something fancy for 50, but we only have like 3 guys that watch, so I don't know what fancy means. Uh,
Maybe just have them all on.
that definitely it could be an option. We might start messaging you guys on the side, or if you're in the comments, you can say something. But this book threw me off because I was just going through the books. Like, oh, okay, it's Dark Horse, dude. If you guys go through the solicitation, these are only 4 of like the 8 covers. Dark Horse rarely does more than like 3 covers. This is Scott Snyder, Frank Avila doing a horror book, which is right up both of their alleys. But there's a 1 for 1,000 cover. There's a 1 for the Manipul, I think is a 1 for 500. There's like 4 Frank Avila covers that are like 1 for 200, a 1 for 100, 1 for 50. I mean, just great covers all the way around.
Yeah.
I don't know, Joe. I know we both like Frank Avila, but does it ever feel like anyone people like him, but no one ever like?
I think he does so much work on posters and stuff for Mondo that those things seem crazy amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes his comic book stuff, he seems to be
Mailing it in?
mailing it in lately, because some of his stuff is just phenomenal. I mean, he's one of the few guys that has stayed consistent pretty much his whole career that I've known about him.
Yeah.
And it's just got that old feel to it. Like it feels like an old comic. He colors his own stuff mostly, and you can it's him. Like you open the book and there's that purple and that orange bouncing off each other.
Oh, so,
yeah, I'm pretty excited about this book. Actually, I forgot it. There's like 4 books that I'm like probably gonna go look at least, and I'll definitely buy this one.
Yeah, and I like the premise. If you guys read the solicitation, I'm going to butcher it, but here's my paraphrase version of the solicitation. It's basically back in the 20s, there was, the Nosferatu and the Dracula, or that's Dracula, and the Frankenstein movies and the Mummy movies. And there was also supposed to be Night of the Ghoul that never actually got made. They made the film, and the film never got released in theaters. And then several years later, some guys working for the studio, and he's basically converting all the old film, and he found an old film canister of this movie. And then he comes to find out as he's trying to get it converted and everything that the ghoul is real. And that's sort of where it leads you. So that sort of explains what the Manipul, actually both the 2 big incentive covers, why they have film canisters on the cover. Can't tell you why there's war soldiers on the cover. So Double O, that's all right. Thank you for at least dropping in and saying, hey, listening in. Glad you're there.
What's up, Double O?
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm also just impressed because Dark Horse rarely ever has incentives, and then they're bold enough to do a 1 for 1,000. Like, I know this is a Snyder thing.
I mean, Scott Snyder sells his books, man. Like, and Frank Avila has a crazy following online too.
Yeah, but it's horror. So I mean, now granted, a 1 for 1,000 cover, this thing is gorgeous. But a store buying 1,000 copies.
I know. Maybe I shouldn't buy it.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I can't even picture like our LCS. I mean, I'd be impressed if they bought 100 copies of this.
Right.
I mean, I don't.
Has it been picked up already? Like, do they know something I don't know?
Yeah, but even then, still 1,000 copies. I mean, that's just a bold statement right there. So
yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it almost makes you feel like there's gonna be like 5 of them made. But I mean, like, if they make 1, they have to make at least like 100 to make the printing worthwhile. So
yeah, I mean, it is a crazy cover.
Oh yeah, I mean, all of these are gorgeous. All the and go guys, go to League Comic Geeks or Midtown and look at all the covers. They're just gorgeous. I don't feel like there's a ton of incentives. So that usually is how those 1,000 copies can be found.
Right.
Speaking of it, I mean, Joe, you said earlier you have not kept up with this. At least you've read 2 issues or 3 issues of the Zdarsky's run. I've only read the first one. But this is Batman 128.
I missed one some week because I didn't go. and I haven't
Yeah,
picked it up. I haven't picked it up back up since then. So uh, we'll see. I
but
think I'm enjoying Detective more. Don't tell anybody.
I think it's just gonna be this arc, this
Yeah,
little.
yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
I'm sure.
and the
Well,
covers are great for it too.
yeah, I like all these. They're all completely different. I like that.
Yeah,
Like there's a little bit of flatness with Jock. The Ryan Sook's not super like crazy. Um, Even the Jimenez is pretty flat, and then that makes the Delato kind of like, but it feels so old school painting. You know, it feels like a marvel of masterpieces. So
yeah,
that's a pretty good outing.
yeah. These, I mean, I think there's an additional cover as well, if I recall. But these are the ones that jumped out at me. Um, and then I wasn't gonna show the Joker because I didn't read the first 15 issues. This is the volume 2 of the new Joker series. But man, when I saw the Ben Oliver cover and the JMO cover, I was like, okay, I gotta show them all.
Yeah.
The and the 1 for 100. I'm showing it more because the artist. Have you ever heard this name, Hainin or Hain?
I've seen it somewhere, but
Yeah,
I don't.
like the style is not anything unique. I mean, it's good, but it's not anything like super special.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I mean, the people have an affinity for the um, Harley cover, so that especially being 1 for 100. But the Ben Arthur thing is just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's
So
he doesn't really usually do that kind of black background with the
yeah,
lights.
well,
I dig it.
the bloody eye. I mean, just
Yeah.
ugh.
Man,
And
you
then
know
you see,
I have like probably I sent you a picture. This was years ago, but I laid out every Joker cover that I have in my collection, and it's like 80 comics or something, and at least 3 of them are Ben Oliver. And if this wasn't a 1 for 50, I'd be like all over it.
yeah. Uh, Poison Ivy covers, guys. If nothing else, these do sell. People are putting together little sets of them. Sozumakia did one. I don't think hers is not the cover A, but it's a B cover, so it's not an incentive. The Sajic, or however you say his name, there's a foil version of it. So it's a 1 for 100. The one I like, and I think Joe you like too, if you're going to choose one, is the David Tilaski, sort of the 50s feel.
Yeah, yeah. I mean
Um,
that can be on the side of an airplane.
yeah,
You know,
it,
I dig
it's
that.
great. The Tulote is,
Creepy.
yeah. I mean, I sometimes, yeah, and we say this every time I pull up one of her covers. I like them and I don't, and I can't ever figure out like because they're all similar. I need to really find an image of her because I almost feel like she draws herself, just because it seems like it's the same
Oh
character
yeah, that might be true.
or it's a friend of hers or something like that. Uh, Joe, you mentioned this while I was off camera.
Yeah, I'm just saying that Dan Slott's back,
Yeah.
but I didn't go into it like you probably will.
So this is Spider-Man Volume 1, Bagley and Slot. Um, he's gonna kill the what he has been saying for months now. He's the Edge of Spider-Verse stuff that's built towards us. He's gonna kill it all. So I don't know what that actually means. I mean, nothing in comics ever stays dead. But that's where he's heading. Dan Slott's, of course, the guy who started the Edge of Spider-Verse stuff. Anyways, he was writing Spider-Man during that time, Amazing Spider-Man during that time period. So I'm interested to see. I like that entire storyline, so I want to see where this goes. I'll probably pick up at least the cover A, if not. And the Frank Miller is fun. Um, Please, if you're watching or whatever, we don't know if this is an original image from Frank Miller or if this is an old one just recycled. I feel like if it's old, it's only old as in like the past 10 years.
Right. I've
Um,
never seen it before.
yeah.
But I know he's not doing a whole lot. I wish I mean, I don't know. He's got his own company now, apparently.
Oh yeah. And then
Uh,
you get the hidden gem Ditko, which is just I always like the ones where you get so this is how the action flows, are just sort of fun. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, I will probably check this out. I will probably actually go for the Bengal cover because I think it's a connecting cover of some of the other issues earlier.
Oh,
And you
cool.
get all the different Spider-Verse characters. Some of the brand new ones are in the background. You get the Spider Bard and the Spintress and some of them that just got created in the last Edge of Spider-Verse. So that's sort of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I was just saying that I was kind of over Mark Bagley, but I think it really depends on who's coloring him.
Yeah, but Bagley, he's synonymous with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
like,
used to love him when we were kids, and
yeah,
that's what I was saying. Like, kind of the John Romita Jr. effect.
yeah,
I've seen it so much.
oh yeah. It's definitely not original. Like, and some of it's like I like Gleason's run of Spider-Man, just ended with the last volume. I was like, okay, you're giving him more of a personality I like. Ramos gave him his own style, but Bagley's like the one you remember. And
Yeah.
then of course, Bagley had the giant run on Ultimate. Him and Bendis did Ultimate together. Uh, Guys, I wish I knew who did this artist, but this is Dark Crisis, a series that Joe and I are not touching. We haven't read any of them. I don't know if I even read the very Crisis on Infinite Earth. Like, did you ever read the original back from the '80s or whatever?
No.
Uh,
Did you see this Dark Crisis Deadly Green?
I did it. I didn't read the solicitation though. There's
I
one,
usually it's a one shot,
yeah.
as we all know, and it's Swamp Thing. I might actually look at that
Yeah,
because
and I thought it was up
like
your
me
alley. I was like,
yeah. So I mean, just judging by that book,
yeah.
maybe Dark Crisis is something I should be looking at.
But it's also one of those like, how much do you have to have read of the
I know.
Justice League, of Superman, of all the different random stuff leading up into it, or can you just pick up with? I guess it would have been the Free Comic Book Day book.
Yeah, which I did not pick up. I am kind of excited about this Gotham City Year One.
Mm-hmm.
Tom King, right?
Yeah, and Phil Hester, which
Yeah,
he's hit or miss for me. Like, it has to be the right thing. He does the square jaw guy really well.
yeah.
But this is not a Phil Hester cover that we're looking at, though, but David Marquis. But Hester has a style that works really well for certain books. And this is the last Joker cover I didn't show earlier, but this is David Nakayama doing his sort of color bleed, is what he calls it. He doesn't. It's not negative space because he does a black line, but there's people collect those, so like having the set, having them all. So that's something to keep in mind too, for those books. These are three, I guess, indie or books I'm excited about. It takes me straight back to nostalgia country. Like, first off, you have the Saturday Morning Adventures Turtles, just
I
doing
mean,
like the
that's
GI
like
Joe.
exactly like what it looked like when we
Oh
were
yeah,
in like third grade.
yeah. Like I'm sort of just nostalgia for that, just to check it out. You and I both looked at this cover and like, okay, we like tigers, especially white tigers. Like that's why we love Saga and the Lion Cat. And then was the book that just took so very long to actually get anywhere and never
The
did.
Isola.
Isola, yeah. It had some really gorgeous cat on the cover. But I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I never finished this.
man.
I had like the first 10.
Some of that art. Yeah, I read like the first 5 or something, and it was so slow. I was like,
Yeah,
all right, let's make the anime. I'm
yeah. I
ready
mean,
to
that's what it
watch
felt
that.
like.
Yeah.
But yeah, Three Keys, new book by Image. This is the one for 25 incentive. I also like seeing like an action figure variant, but be a incentive. So like, there's a reason to pick it up. But I like this. I sort of want to pick it up. It looks sort of fun. And then for all your nostalgia feels or whatever, this is Dark Ride, Little Mermaid homage cover by Stray Dogs team themselves.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, one or like episode 2, I think,
Yeah.
maybe 3. But this book, if you're doing spec on, if the book ever get option, it actually had the first like 5-6 pages of it are actually in Skybound X 25. So if from a spec perspective, it's all about the cover. It's all about the homage. It has nothing to do with if this book gets homaged or gets option, not homage. So I don't know if it will. It's like hell roller coaster ride or whatever. But I did read the preview, but it's been a minute. Some more covers. We immediately look at the middle cover and go,
Oh
takes us
man.
back.
Yeah.
Joe, how many of those books, Choose Your Own Adventure books, you think you read back in the day?
I don't know, 10, 15, like
Yeah, that was like our third, fourth,
every
fifth grade. It was like,
yeah. I was like, I had an awesome Batman when I read it like
um,
when you really liked one, you would read all the different things.
you're like, I want the perfect ending. Can I take these two and put them together?
Yeah.
And then you always got
I
pissed
do like
off
that cover a lot. Yeah.
when you got to you chose the wrong page and it dropped you at the last page of the book. You're like, no, no.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
no, they're supposed to go through trials. I just thought it'd be nice.
Yeah.
This Gun Honey, the reason I'm throwing it up here, guys, this is Art Germ, second printing. If you guys remember the Art Germ cover from before, it was your typical Art Germ, very photorealistic pose. I really dig the flatness of this.
Agreed.
It's the exact same pose. So I can't remember what they call it, like the Copic style or something like that. So I sort of chase this down if I could. I mean, I don't know if there's any spec value on these types of books, especially the only one that ever really did was the very first volume's Adam Hughes cover. But then you got Peach doing Grogu. I like this cover. I haven't picked up any of them. Have you been picking up the rest of them? I know you were bummed out by the art in the first one.
I've got multiples of the first two because technically that's Mando's
that's the AHA cover too, right?
Yeah, and then Grogu's first appearance is
issue 2.
Is issue 2, so I feel like it's probably some long-term holdage.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got like 2 copies, and it's not like I'm gonna.
You're not sitting on a long box full of them,
right?
Yeah.
And I think there were a million print run of all those. So.
Oh yeah. So indie covers. Once again, this book in the center is the one I'm like, my eyes keep going to.
Yeah,
we said this. It's gorgeous. Shock Shop. I didn't read the first one. I saw it on the shelf today, and I didn't pick it up because I'm not huge into horror, and so I don't chase them out. I love skeletons. I love art in a lot of the horror books, but the stories themselves, they're just not my thing. I do like superhero stuff, so like I really like Minor Threats, guys. If you don't remember Minor Threats, that is the book Patton Oswalt is writing or co-writing or whatever. But issue 1 was fun. I have it here beside me in my stack of books right here. So I want to check out issue 2. It's just sort of fun. What if a bad guy killed a superhero sidekick, and now the superheroes are going after all bad guys, trying to find the bad, and holding prisoners, beating them to a pulp, where they're and that type of thing. So the lesser bad guys go after the bad guy who killed, if that makes any sense, the sick man who killed the sidekick or whatever. So it's sort of a fun sort of series to go through. And then I've got to track down and find issue 1 of this Survival Street.
Yeah.
Every cover is just so much fun.
Yeah. So dumb.
And then I have a child right now going through loving Sesame Street and not. So it's like, I know who that's supposed to be. Right. I mean, obviously Milo and Elmo, but overall, I'm like, it's just sort of fun. So I want to check that out. So a few more indie covers, guys. Image 30th anniversary anthology number 6. I don't know how many of these are doing. If it's 10, or if it's, I can't remember if it's the entire year.
I think it is. I think it's 12.
So, but this is from Pro. Joe, did you ever read Pro?
Mm-mm.
I said the only reason I recognized it right away was I literally saw a copy on the shelf at one of our spots or whatever. I was like, oh, I almost picked it up because the issue 1. Well, there's one cover that has some value, just because it's a sexy girl cover pose or whatever. But this is Amanda Connors. It's sort of put her. She's of course known for doing all the Harley stuff back in the day.
Right. Yeah.
But so yeah, threw that up there. Junkyard Joe is threw it up there for you. No.
Yeah.
This is a character that first appeared in issue 6 of Geiger. So there. I actually got a chance to grab this book before it came out, Read it. It's fun. It's basically the origin story of Junkyard Joe.
Cool.
So like Geiger, of course, is a apocalyptic radioactive
I read
man.
I read the first two of that. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I'll definitely pick up trade one day.
yeah,
I like that they're doing these like little one shots off of stuff. Like Nocturna has a couple one shots that grew out of it. That's fun.
Well, I think Image is really trying to figure out. They're trying to create, and a lot of it's maybe it's not Image because Image, because I mean, Image is the artists or writers get to choose it. So all the artists and writers are going, I'm just going to create my own universe. If the universe takes, if Netflix options it after and then it's like, okay, let's try it. Shoot, was it Grendel got optioned and then Netflix just dropped it, or but it's one of those like, did they drop it or they just stop production? Because that's two different things. Like,
right.
So, and then finally here is Kaya.
Kaya.
This is Wes Craig.
It looks great. I get his newsletter and follow him and stuff.
So if you don't know who Wes Craig,
fun.
Yeah, he is the artist behind Class.
Yeah, which is a beautiful book. What was that? I didn't.
Does it look the same from the newsletter?
No. This one is a lot more funny. It's a lot more cartoony.
Okay.
But he's writing it and coloring it and everything. He may not be coloring it, but it
says End World with Jason Wordy. I'm not sure who does what.
I think Jason Wordy's a colorist, but from what he's posting, I thought he was coloring stuff, but it may just be, a couple little things here and there. But it looks like a fun book. I'm gonna pick it up.
It's a weird week as far as there wasn't a super long list of incentives, but there were quite a few books at the same time that I'm like, I want to go get this. This is Sword of Azrael. This is a Jorge Corona cover. DC is pumping out. They went from like doing occasional one for 25 to there's 12 or 8 books here that all have incentives. IDW has 3 coming out this week. The Turtles one we looked at. Image though, this is what's surprising, Joe, because like usually when you and I go through Image, it might be a 1 for 10,
right?
But like here's 5 books all with 1 for 25s or bigger incentives. 3 of them being number 1s, that's a little different. Usually you have an incentive there,
right?
But everything connected to the Radiant Black world, it seems like it has an incentive. Dead Lucky, Rogue Sun.
Yeah, is all that stuff selling really well?
I don't know. Like, it's hard to. I think people buy the incentives, but they buy them for $15 and a 1 for 25.
Right.
So it's. And those of you out there in the reading world, like, do you guys actually read the Radiant Black thing for more than spec? Like, I read through like issue 6. It was okay. It wasn't like the most amazing thing. It just wasn't my sort of thing. And I think I picked up. I might have the first 10 issues and an incentive here and there because some of the incentives have been great.
Yeah, some of the covers have been really cool.
Yeah.
And I read, a little bit of a couple of things, but it just wasn't. I mean, it was too much like Power Rangers for me to really.
Well, given I think the 2 of the people that have written for it came straight out of the Power Rangers world.
I was kind of hoping it would move towards more like what's that? Where they big mechs, they're in the mechs instead, something like
the
something
Voltrons.
Like that.
Yeah. And then you got Marvel is back. They had a 1 week break where they only had 1 incentive. But it's still not a ton. Edge of Spider-Verse actually has 2 1 for 10s for 2 different character design variants. One's like a Craven type of character, and then one's a Spinner or Spinweb character. And there's also a spoiler variant, a 1 for 25 for that, which I couldn't. You might, by the time you watch the video, you might be able to find the variant online to see what it looks like. But when I was looking today, I couldn't find it. Then of course you get Hulk. Miracle Man is back, and we're looking at it. Peach Momoko 1 for 250. Joe, and this is right about the time you and I really started collecting. Do you remember Miracle Man coming out and Marvel trying to re-release all the Miracle Mans that Alan Moore wrote, Neil Gaiman wrote?
Yeah, I mean, I never even looked at them though. It seemed like Neil Gaiman was like writing some of it, and like it was like, oh, it's just a whole nother thing that you have to jump into. So I bet they're gonna streamline it for this release.
Well, and there's a convoluted history to Miracle Man. I don't know how much you know, like
Right, not a
who
whole lot.
owns the character and whether or not Neil Gaiman, I think, owns the well. I think this is the character like it where McFarlane bought it. He bought the company that did Miracle Man in the 80s, and then Neil Gaiman bought it off of him, and then all this communication, and then Angela from Spawn that Gaiman created, like
Right.
there's all convoluted. So who basically can do it? I think it's all been resolved. This is supposed to be, I think, wrapping up maybe or beginning the Silver Miracle Man run, which
Oh
they
wow.
never finished. But I don't know if any of it's new. Like I think it's still all.
Oh
I'm trying
wow.
to think if I have it. I used to have the trade. It might be here beside me from the last like 5 issues from Neil Gaiman and it might be McKeon. They did like the last 5 issues of Miracle Man in the 80s together.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
They're really hard to find, and then yeah, they're just all the stuff's dark because it's all about a retired superhero back in, which is rare then. Like now, it's more
Right.
common to have a dark.
Yeah.
A superhero doesn't want to be a superhero, but
Yeah.
so yeah, and then Spider-Man we already talked about, and Mandalorian we already talked about as well.
Yeah. I mean, those are some pretty big books. Spider-Man #1.
Yeah, but it's not. I haven't. Of course, I mean you're going to have your stores that do a variant for it, but it had. I haven't been hearing as much about it. Maybe we're just for doing a new comic book show. It doesn't seem like people are as excited about this. The Edge of Spider-Verse was a letdown for a lot of people. I haven't read it yet. I know that a lot of people were all pumped about Night Spider,
Mm-hmm.
and then most people that actually read the story and then just buy it for the cover went, "She's not a very good character." So like they're like, "Oh, all the spec is gone of her being a character they run with."
Yeah.
But
Is the Spider T-Rex gonna be around for a while though?
I don't like. I don't know. I
Because
haven't. And that's the thing. I haven't read it yet
I
to see.
saw a toy of that.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you that. So like that was kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's where we need to. Because you put Devil Dinosaur and the Spider-Man T-Rex, you got something there.
Yeah. Well, and on the second print of issue 1, the T-Rex is front and center
Yeah.
with the Spider Bard and Ayana's new costume and everything. But guys, that is
That's
it.
it.
So
Go.
thank you guys for watching, guys. I know it went fast. I know my internet keeps popping out. I can't tell you what happens on Thursday nights at my house. This is 2 weeks in a row it's happened. Thankfully, Joe can play for the camera for however long it takes me to get reconnected. But yeah, thanks for watching. I know it's Monday night or Thursday night football, but that's probably where if you're watching.
That's where we are.
So, but thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell us what you think. Last 24 hours, if you have not checked out the Bog, check it out.
That's me.
Joe, you're up to 61, 62. How many people?
67.
67 people.
Backers.
It'd be awesome if we could end up with 70.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only 3. And we're not asking for a big, huge thing. Just go get the digital. You want to see what Joe's working on, you want to see his art, this is the way you can do it. Of course, you can also follow him on Instagram. The link, guys, is still in the description. So
sweet.
Give us a shout. Thanks, guys.
See you.